Picture a lighthouse solitary and unyielding, perched on a jagged cliff as monstrous waves roar below. The storm's first strike hits with unrelenting fury, threatening to shatter its foundation, to drown its guiding light in darkness. You are that lighthouse standing tall in the face of life's tempest. But tell me, when the waves of hardship crash against you, when loss, failure, or betrayal strike, do you still shine? Or do you let the storm snuff out the flame of gratitude within your heart, leaving only despair in its wake? Welcome to the beginning of a journey, a call to train gratitude daily, for it is the steadying force that keeps your heart anchored in every storm. In this first chapter, The Storm's First Strike, we confront a brutal truth. Life's challenges have a vicious way of eroding gratitude, turning your focus to what's lost instead of what remains. They breed bitterness, cloud your vision, and pull you into a spiral of despair. But just as the lighthouse endures the crashing waves, so too can you withstand these blows if you choose to remember the light within. Let's dive into the darkness of struggle, not to linger, but to forge a path back to gratitude. You're not alone in this. We've all faced the storm. Now let's stand together and reclaim what it steals. Imagine this: you've poured years into a career, climbing rung by rung with grit and sacrifice. You've built a life on that foundation, bills paid, family fed, dreams within reach. Then without warning, the storm strikes. A pink slip lands on your desk. We're downsizing, they say, as if those words don't shatter your world. You're out of a job and the waves of uncertainty crash over you. Rent looms. Savings dwindle. Every door you knock on slams shut. You sit at night staring at the walls, replaying every missed opportunity, every what if. Bitterness creeps in like salt water, corroding your spirit. Why me? What did I do wrong? You focus only on the loss, the title stripped away, the security gone. You forget the skills you've honed, the people who still believe in you, the mornings you woke up with purpose. Days turn to weeks and despair tightens its grip. You stop reaching out to friends, their success stings too much. You scroll through job listings, but each rejection feels like another wave slamming against your lighthouse. You're drowning in what's gone blind to what still stands. But pause for a moment. Remember the lighthouse. It doesn't curse the storm for its fury. It doesn't crumble under the weight of the waves. It stands battered but resolute, its light piercing the chaos. What if you turned inward just for a second and saw not the job lost, but the resilience gained? What if you remembered the late nights you pushed through the challenges you've already overcome? That's the first flicker of gratitude, a light to guide you back. The storm took your role, but it can't take your strength, not unless you let it. The lesson here is clear: when loss strikes, don't let it blind you to what endures. Train your eyes to see the light even when the waves roar loudest. Now picture a student burning the midnight oil for months, preparing for an exam that could define their future. You're that student hunched over textbooks, fueled by coffee and determination. This test isn't just a grade. It's a gateway to your dreams, a scholarship, a career, a chance to prove yourself. The day comes and you pour everything into those hours, scratching out answers with a trembling hand. Then the results arrive. Failed. The word cuts like a blade. Your heart sinks as you stare at the red ink, each mark a mocking reminder of your inadequacy. The storm has struck, and its waves of doubt pummel you without mercy. You ignore the semesters of hard work, the late-night study groups, the small victories along the way. All you see is this one crushing defeat. Despair whispers, you're not enough. You never will be. You spiral, questioning every choice, bearing your dreams under the weight of this single moment. But stop. Step back from the edge of that cliff. Look at the lighthouse in your mind's eye. It doesn't dim its beam because one wave struck harder than the rest. It endures knowing the storm will pass. What if you shifted your gaze from this failure to the journey that brought you here? What if you recalled the chapters you mastered, the grit it took to keep showing up? That's gratitude, a quiet, steady light amid the chaos. Failure doesn't erase your worth. It sharpens it if you let it. The lesson shines through when the storm of failure hits. Don't let it drown your past triumphs. Stand like the lighthouse and let gratitude be your guide. The waves will recede and your light will burn brighter for having endured. Let's dig deeper into this silent thief, how life's challenges erode gratitude and breed despair. When the storm strikes, whether it's a lost job or a failed dream, Your instinct is to brace for impact. You hunker down, eyes fixed on the damage, on the jagged edges of what's broken. And in that narrow gaze, gratitude slips away like sand through your fingers. You don't mean for it to happen. It's not a choice at first. It's a reflex. The human heart, when wounded, seeks to tally its losses, to measure the unfairness of the blow. Why did this happen to me? How will I survive this? These questions, though natural, build a wall between you and the light you carry. Despair grows in the shadow of that wall, whispering lies about your worth, your future, your strength. Think of the lighthouse battered by endless waves. Does it count each strike against it? Does it lament the cracks in its stone? No, it stands as a sentinel, its purpose unshaken. Gratitude is your purpose, your inner beam. But life's storms are relentless. They don't just test your resolve. They obscure your vision. They make you forget the countless mornings you rose, despite the odds, the hands that lifted you when you stumbled, the small victories that paved your path. How often have you let a single tempest erase a lifetime of blessings? How many times have you traded the warmth of what remains for the cold tally of what's lost? The truth is, this gratitude isn't a feeling that blooms on its own in hard times. It's a muscle one you must train daily, especially when the waves crash hardest. Without it, despair will always win. But with it, you become the lighthouse, unbreakable, a guide through any storm. Now let's turn the storm on its head. What if the very challenges that erode gratitude are also the forge that can strengthen it? Consider this: a lighthouse isn't built in calm waters. Its strength is born from enduring the fiercest gales, from withstanding blows that would shatter lesser structures. So too with you. The storms of life, loss, failure, rejection are not just threats to your gratitude. They are invitations to deepen it, but only if you choose to see them that way. Despair is the easy path. It's the surrender to the wave, the decision to let the darkness win. Gratitude, on the other hand, is the harder climb. It demands that you look beyond the immediate pain, that you search for the glint of light even as the storm rages. Ask yourself, when was the last time a hardship revealed something worth cherishing? Maybe losing that job forced you to rediscover a forgotten passion. Maybe failing that exam taught you the grit to try again stronger. The storm strips away illusions, yes, but it also exposes the bedrock of your resilience. Gratitude isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about recognizing that even in the wreckage, there is something to hold on to. It's the realization that the lighthouse doesn't shine despite the storm, but because of it. The waves carve scars into its stone, but those scars tell a story of endurance. Your scars do the same. So don't fear the storm. Let it teach you. Let it remind you of the light you've always carried, the light that no wave can extinguish. When the storm's first strike hits, when loss or failure threatens to sweep you away, don't let despair take the wheel. You have the power to anchor yourself, to keep your heart steady. Here's how. First, pause. Don't react in the heat of the moment when emotions roar louder than reason. Take a deep breath, step back, and give yourself space to feel the blow without letting it define you. Next, shift your focus. Write down 3 things. Yes, just 3 that you still have even in this chaos. Maybe it's a supportive friend, a skill you've mastered, or simply the fact that you've survived worse. This isn't about denying the pain. It's about balancing the scales. Despair wants you to see only loss. Gratitude reminds you of what endures. Then speak it aloud. Say, I am grateful for this, naming each of those 3 things. Hearing your own voice can cut through the storm's noise, grounding you like the lighthouse's beam piercing the fog. Finally, act. Take one small step forward, even if it's just sending an email, studying a single page, or asking for help. Action rebuilds your foundation brick by brick. As Melody Beatty once wrote, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Start with this simple practice. Train gratitude now in the eye of the storm, and watch how it steadies your heart against the next wave. Here's another tool to wield when challenges erode your gratitude: reframe the wave. When despair creeps in, telling you that this loss or failure is the end, stop and challenge that narrative. Ask yourself, what can this storm teach me? Write down one lesson. Maybe it's patience, resilience, or the courage to start over. Then pair it with a memory of a past struggle you overcame. This isn't just reflection. It's a deliberate act of gratitude, a reminder that you've weathered storms before, and emerge stronger. The lighthouse doesn't rebuild itself after every wave. It stands taller because of them. So do you. Next, share this reframing with someone you trust. Speak the lesson aloud. This failure taught me to keep pushing, just like when I bounced back from that setback years ago. Verbalizing it reinforces the shift from despair to gratitude. Finally, set a tiny goal tied to that lesson, something achievable within a day or two. If the lesson is resilience, commit to trying again, even in a small way. As Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow, "Rich, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." Reframing isn't about ignoring the storm. It's about seeing it as a sculptor, chiseling you into something greater. Train this habit daily and gratitude will become your shield, steadying you no matter how hard the waves crash. We've walked through the storm's first strike together, witnessing how life's challenges, be it a lost job or a crushing failure, can erode gratitude and breed despair. We've seen the spiral of bitterness, felt the weight of loss, and heard the whispers of doubt. But we've also stood as the lighthouse, enduring the crashing waves, refusing to let our light be snuffed out. The key lesson shines: clear gratitude is not a luxury for calm days. It's a lifeline in the tempest, a force you must train daily to keep your heart steady in every storm. You've learned to pause, to reframe, to anchor yourself in what remains. You've seen that the storm, though fierce, cannot take your resilience unless you surrender it. As we close this chapter, carry this truth with you. The waves will come again, but so will your strength. Stand tall like the lighthouse, and let gratitude be your unyielding beam. We've only begun this journey. Ahead lies the work of building that gratitude into an unbreakable habit, a fortress against any gale. For now, hold fast to this mantra. Let it echo in your soul as the storm rages on. Final mantra: stand firm. Your light outlasts every wave. Picture a mighty tree rooted deep into the earth, standing tall on a windswept cliff. A gale howls fierce and unrelenting, bending its branches to the brink of snapping. Yet it holds, it sways, it endures. Why doesn't it break? Because its roots grip the soil with unshakable strength, drawing life from the very ground it claims as home. You too stand in the storms of life, buffeted by loss, uncertainty, and struggle. What keeps you steady? Gratitude. It's the root of a steady heart, the silent force that anchors you when the winds of chaos roar. In this journey of training gratitude daily, we dive into its origins and power. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling or a polite thank you. It's a lifeline, a choice, a practice forged in the quiet moments when you thought you had nothing left. It's the whisper that reminds you of what still shines even in the darkest tempest. You've felt the gales, haven't you? The weight of bills unpaid, the ache of dreams delayed, the sting of setbacks. Yet here you are, still standing. Let's uncover how gratitude becomes your anchor, how it steadies your heart in every storm, and why nurturing it daily is not just a habit, but a rebellion against despair. Feel the ground beneath you. We're about to dig into the roots of your strength. Imagine a small, dimly lit apartment at the edge of a bustling city. Maria, a single mother of a 5-year-old boy named Luca, sits at a worn kitchen table, bills scattered like fallen leaves across its surface. Her paycheck barely stretches to cover rent, let alone the school supplies Luca needs. The weight of it all presses down a storm of worry that threatens to uproot her. She's exhausted, her hands trembling, as she calculates how many overtime shifts she'll need to make ends meet. The gale howls in her mind. What if I fail him? What if I'm not enough? But then Luca bounds into the room, his laughter cutting through the silence like a beam of sunlight. He's holding a crumpled drawing, a stick figure family under a bright yellow sun. "This is us, Mama. We're happy," he declares, his eyes wide with pride. Maria pauses. Her chest tightens, not with worry, but with something warmer, deeper. She pulls him into a hug, feeling the smallness of his frame, the sticky warmth of his hands. In that moment, the bills fade. The storm still rages, but it doesn't touch her core. She's grateful for this child, for his joy, for the way he sees light where she sees shadow. Days turn to weeks, and Maria begins to notice more. The way Luca hums while eating his simple dinner of rice and beans. The neighbor who drops off a bag of hand-me-down clothes without asking for thanks. These are small joys, but they become her roots. When the winds of financial strain howl louder, she bends but doesn't break. She recalls Luca's drawing his laughter, and they anchor her. Gratitude doesn't erase the struggle, but it shifts her gaze. It teaches her to stand firm, to find strength in what remains. Like a tree in a gale, she learns that her heart can weather any storm if she holds tight to what matters most. The lesson here is clear: gratitude isn't about having more, it's about seeing more. Maria's roots grew from the tiny, often overlooked gifts: her son's smile, a kind gesture, a moment of peace. When you train gratitude daily, you forge an inner stability that no tempest can shatter. You bend, yes, but you never break. Now picture a young athlete named Kai, once a rising star on the track, now sidelined by a torn ligament. 6 months ago, he was sprinting toward a scholarship, his name buzzing in local sports circles. Today, he sits in a physical therapy room, sweat beading on his forehead as he struggles to lift his leg just an inch higher. The pain bites, sharp and mocking. His friends are out there racing, winning, while he's stuck relearning how to walk. The storm of doubt rages. Will I ever run again? Am I finished before I even started? One day after a grueling session, Kai collapses onto a bench, frustration boiling over. His therapist, a quiet woman with steady eyes, hands him a notebook. "Write down one thing you did better today," she says. He scoffs. Better he can barely stand, but he humors her, scribbling, "I didn't quit." The next day he writes, "I lifted my leg higher." Day by day the entries grow. "I walked 5 steps without wincing. I felt my strength flicker back." Slowly Kai begins to see it, not the finish line he once chased, but the ground he's gaining inch by inch. He's grateful for the ache in his muscles because it means he's fighting. He's grateful for the therapist's patience, for the quiet mornings when his body cooperates just a little more. The storm of injury still looms, but Kai's perspective shifts. He's not broken, he's bending, adapting, enduring. Like a tree in a gale, his roots of gratitude, those small victories, those flickers of hope, hold him steady. He realizes that progress, no matter how slow, is still progress, and that realization becomes his anchor. As Jim Rohn once said, success is steady progress toward a worthy goal. Kai's goal isn't just to run again. It's to rise stronger, rooted in the gratitude for every step forward. The takeaway is powerful: gratitude transforms setbacks into stepping stones. When you train it daily, you learn to see the smallest gains as victories. You bend under life's gales, but your roots forged in appreciation keep you from breaking. Let's pause and dig deeper. Where does gratitude come from? Why does it hold such power to steady your heart when the storms of life rage? Gratitude isn't born in abundance. It's forged in scarcity. It's not the overflowing cup that teaches you to give thanks, but the cracked, half-empty one. Think about it. When have you felt the deepest sense of appreciation? Was it when everything was perfect, or when you found a sliver of light in the darkness? Gratitude emerges from contrast, from the tension between what you've lost and what you still hold. Like a tree in a gale, gratitude's strength lies in its roots hidden beneath the surface. You don't see them, but they're there, gripping the earth of your soul. They're made of memories of a kind word when you felt unseen, of a meal shared, when your pockets were empty, of a sunrise that reminded you tomorrow is possible. These moments, often small, weave together to form an unyielding foundation. When the winds of hardship blow, gratitude reminds you that you've survived before. It whispers, look at what you still have. Look at how far you've come. Have you ever considered how much you've endured because you chose to see the good amid the bad? How many times have you risen because you held on to a single reason to keep going? Gratitude isn't passive, it's a rebellion. It's the act of defying despair by claiming joy, however small. It's the root that keeps you steady no matter how fiercely the storm rages. So nurture it, seek it, let it grow deep within you. Now let's reflect on gratitude as a shelter, a quiet refuge within you. Life's storms are inevitable. Grief, failure, uncertainty, they sweep in without warning, tearing at your resolve. But gratitude is the sturdy trunk of that tree in the gale, the core that bends but refuses to snap. It's not about ignoring the rain or pretending the wind doesn't sting. It's about standing tall anyway because you've trained your heart to find shelter in what remains. Think of gratitude as a river carving through stone. It doesn't fight the rock, it flows persistent and patient, shaping the hardest surfaces over time. So too does gratitude shape your spirit. It softens the edges of pain, not by erasing it, but by reminding you of the beauty that coexists with it. When you lose a job, gratitude points to the skills you've gained. When a relationship ends, it highlights the lessons learned. It's a lens, not a cure, a way of seeing that steadies you when everything else shakes. What have you overlooked in your rush to escape the storm? What small, steady blessings have you dismissed as insignificant? A warm bed, a friend's laughter, the breath in your lungs, these are your roots, your shelter. As Wayne Dyer once wrote, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Train gratitude daily, and you build an inner sanctuary. The gale may howl, but you stand firm, rooted in the power of what you choose to see. How do you begin to train gratitude when the storm feels too loud to hear anything else? It's simpler than you think, but it demands intention. Start small right now. Each evening, before you close your eyes, grab a notebook or even a scrap of paper. Write down 3 things you're grateful for from that day. They don't need to be grand. Maybe it's the warmth of your coffee, the smile of a stranger, or the fact that you made it through a tough moment. Do this for a week. Watch how your gaze shifts, how you begin to notice the flickers of light amid the shadows. When doubt or despair creeps in, pause. Breathe. Look around you. Ask yourself, what can I appreciate in this moment? Maybe it's the quiet of the room, the strength in your hands, or the memory of a past victory. This act of seeking anchors you. It's like planting roots deeper into the earth, ensuring that no gale can topple you. Consistency is key. Make gratitude a ritual, not a reaction. Over time, it becomes your steady heartbeat, pulsing even when the winds roar. Storms often bring pain, rejection, loss, failure. But pain can nourish gratitude if you let it. When you're hurting, don't run from it. Face it, then ask, what can this teach me? What remains despite this ache? Write down one thing, just one, that you still have, or that this struggle has revealed. Maybe a failure showed you your resilience. Maybe a loss reminded you of love's depth. This isn't about forcing positivity. It's about forging roots from the raw material of life. Carry a small token, a stone, a coin, a photo that reminds you of something or someone you're grateful for. When the storm hits, hold it. Let it ground you. Let it whisper, you've endured before. You will again. As Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Train gratitude in pain, and you turn every gale into a chance to grow stronger roots. You bend, but you never break. As we close this exploration of the roots of a steady heart, remember this: gratitude is your anchor, your unyielding strength in life's fiercest storms. It's not about ignoring the gale or pretending the winds don't sting. It's about choosing to see the soil beneath your feet, the small joys and hard-won lessons that keep you grounded. Maria found it in her son's laughter amid financial strain. Kai discovered it in every painful step toward recovery. You too have roots waiting to be nurtured, moments of light that can steady you if you train yourself to see them. Gratitude is a daily practice, a quiet rebellion against despair. It's the power to bend without breaking, to stand tall even when the tempest rages. Its origins lie in your choice to value what remains, and its strength grows with every intentional act of appreciation. So keep training it, keep seeking it. Let it become the core of your steady heart, unshakable in every storm. As we move forward, we'll build on this foundation, exploring how gratitude transforms not just your perspective, but your actions in the face of adversity. For now, hold this truth close and let it echo within you as a mantra to carry through every gale. Final mantra: bend but never break. Your roots of gratitude hold you steady. Picture yourself in a forge, the air thick with heat, sparks flying as the hammer strikes raw steel. The fire roars unrelenting, and the metal glows red with pain. Yet in this crucible, something unbreakable is born. You are that steel, and life's storms are the flames. How do you endure? How do you transform suffering into strength? The answer lies in forging gratitude, a daily act, a deliberate choice, even when the heat feels unbearable. Welcome to Forging Gratitude in Fire, a journey within the greater storm of life where you learn to train gratitude daily to keep your heart steady. Here you'll uncover practical ways to cultivate thankfulness even in the deepest pain. Stand in the forge with me. Feel the fire. Let it shape you. For in this moment, you are not just surviving, you are becoming. Imagine losing something irreplaceable, a loved one, a dream, a piece of yourself. The weight of grief sits on your chest like a stone unyielding. This is where we find Sarah, a woman in her 30s, staring at an empty house after her father's sudden passing. The silence is louder than any storm she's ever faced. Each morning she wakes to a void, her heart raw and aching. Yet in the midst of this darkness, she picks up a worn notebook. She decides to write one thing, just one, that she's thankful for each day. At first it feels futile. I'm thankful for the sunrise, she scribbles, her hand trembling. The words seem hollow against her pain, but she persists. Day by day, the entries grow. I'm thankful for the memory of Dad's laughter. I'm thankful for the neighbor who brought me soup. The fire of grief doesn't lessen, but something shifts. Sarah begins to see slivers of light in the darkness. Writing becomes her hammer, gratitude her anvil. Each word tempers her pain, not erasing it, but shaping it into something she can carry. Like a blacksmith striking steel, she learns that gratitude isn't about denying the hurt, it's about forging meaning from it. The lesson burns bright even in your deepest sorrow. There is something to hold on to. You don't ignore the flames, you use them. Sarah's journal becomes her proof that gratitude practiced daily steadies the heart against life's fiercest storms. Her takeaway mirrors yours. Gratitude is a muscle. Train it in the fire, and it will hold you upright when everything else falls. Now picture yourself trapped in a different kind of fire, a workplace that suffocates your spirit. This is Marcus, a man in his 40s, grinding through endless days in a toxic environment. Colleagues gossip, managers criticize without cause, and every task feels like a personal attack. The frustration boils inside him, a storm threatening to break. He dreams of walking away, of escaping the heat. But he can't, not yet. Bills loom, responsibilities anchor him. So instead of surrendering to bitterness, Marcus chooses a different path. He starts focusing on the lessons hidden in the chaos. What can I learn from this tension, he asks himself. He notices how criticism sharpens his patience. He sees how conflict teaches him to stand firm without lashing out. Each day he mentally notes one skill or insight gained from the struggle. Like a blacksmith who doesn't curse the fire but uses it to temper steel, Marcus transforms his environment into a forge for growth. The toxicity doesn't disappear, but his perspective shifts. He's no longer just a victim of the storm. He's a craftsman shaping his resilience. One day a particularly harsh critique stings deep, but instead of retaliating, he breathes, reflects, and thinks, I'm thankful for the chance to master my calm. The lesson is clear. Gratitude isn't about loving the pain, it's about mining value from it. As Marcus forges ahead, he embodies the truth you must embrace. Gratitude, even in hostile conditions, becomes the steadying force that keeps your heart from breaking under pressure. Let's pause here in the heat of the forge. Look around you. The flames of life, loss, struggle, betrayal lick at your edges. They hurt, they scar. But what if the fire isn't your enemy? What if it's your greatest teacher? Pain, like the blacksmith's flame, doesn't just destroy, it reveals. It strips away the unnecessary, leaving only what is strong, what is true. When you train gratitude daily, you step into the role of the craftsman. You don't flinch from the heat. You don't run from the hammer's strike. You stand and you shape your response. Gratitude becomes the tool that turns raw suffering into refined strength. Have you ever considered how much of your pain comes from resistance? How often do you fight the storm instead of seeking its lesson? Think of Sarah's trembling hand as she wrote in her journal, or Marcus biting back frustration to find a hidden gift in criticism. Their gratitude wasn't a feeling, it was a decision, a choice to see beyond the immediate burn. As the fire roars, remember, this gratitude isn't passive, it's active. It's the hammer in your hand, the sweat on your brow, the resolve in your soul. You are being forged, not broken. So stand in the heat. Let it teach you. Let it show you what you're made of. There's a rhythm to the blacksmith's work. Strike, pause, strike again. Each blow is deliberate, each moment of rest intentional. So it is with gratitude. You can't force it to bloom in an instant. It's a daily forging, a steady cadence of effort. Think about the weight of the hammer in your hand. It's heavy, isn't it? Some days lifting it feels impossible. Pain makes your grip tremble. Doubt whispers that it's not worth it. But here's the timeless truth. Every strike, no matter how weak, shapes the steel. Every act of gratitude, no matter how small, steadies your heart against the storm. Why do you shy away from this practice when the fire rages hottest? Is it because you think gratitude means pretending the pain isn't real? Let me shatter that illusion. Gratitude doesn't deny the storm. It anchors you within it. It's the quiet voice that says, I see the rain, but I also see the river it feeds. It's the resolve to find one spark of light when the darkness feels endless. Like the blacksmith who knows the steel must endure the fire to become a blade, you must trust that gratitude trained daily transforms your struggles into something sharp, something unbreakable. Keep striking, keep shaping. Your heart grows steadier with every blow. Now let's get to the work. You want to cultivate gratitude even when pain threatens to drown you. Start small, but start now. Take a page from Sarah's story. Grab a notebook, a scrap of paper, anything. Each night before the day ends, write down one thing you're thankful for. It doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as I'm thankful for the warmth of my bed, or I'm thankful I made it through today. The act of writing is your hammer, striking the steel, deliberate grounding. Do this for 7 days straight. Don't skip. Even if the words feel forced, write them. You're not waiting for gratitude to feel natural. You're forging it through repetition. When the fire of life burns, when grief, stress, or anger flares, pause before you react. Look at your list. Read it aloud if you must. Remind yourself that even in the storm, there is something worth holding on to. This isn't about ignoring pain. It's about balancing it with perspective. As Napoleon Hill once said, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Your daily note is your way of planting that seed. Strike the steel, shape your heart. One entry at a time, you'll feel the steadiness grow. Here's another tool for your forge inspired by Marcus's journey. When you're stuck in a toxic situation, be it a job, a relationship, or a personal struggle, don't let frustration be your only lens. Reframe the flames. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this heat? Write down or mentally note one lesson or the strength you're gaining from the challenge. Maybe a harsh word teaches you patience. Maybe a setback hones your persistence. This isn't about sugarcoating reality. It's about mining value from it. Set a reminder once a day, perhaps during a break or before sleep, to reflect on this question. Make it a ritual. As Brian Tracy advises, develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. When the storm rages, this practice becomes your shield. You're not just enduring, you're growing. Take 5 minutes today. Think of one struggle, find one lesson, write it, speak it, own it. You're tempering your steel, turning pain into power, one deliberate thought at a time. Let's linger a moment longer in the forge. You've felt the fire, you've swung the hammer, but do you see the strength forming beneath the surface? Steel doesn't show its transformation in the first strike nor the 10th. It's a slow, unseen process, much like gratitude. You may not feel different after one journal entry or one reframed thought. The storm may still howl, yet something is shifting. Your heart, once brittle with pain, is becoming resilient. Gratitude trained daily is the quiet force that holds you together when everything else threatens to shatter. Have you ever watched a river carve through stone? It doesn't rush. It doesn't force. It flows day after day until the impossible gives way. So it is with your practice. Each act of thankfulness, no matter how small, erodes despair. Each choice to seek a lesson in the flames chips away at bitterness. As Dale Carnegie once wrote, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. Gratitude bridges that gap. It teaches you to want what life hands you, not because it's easy, but because it's yours to shape. Trust the process. Trust the forge. You are stronger than you know. You've stood in the forge with me, felt the fire, and swung the hammer of gratitude. You've seen through Sarah's journal how even grief can yield light when you seek it. You've walked with Marcus, learning to reframe the flames of a toxic storm into lessons of resilience. You've reflected on the fire as your teacher, the hammer, as your rhythm and the unseen strength building within. The takeaway burns clear gratitude trained daily is the steadying force that keeps your heart upright in every storm. It's not a fleeting emotion, but a deliberate craft forged in the heat of life's hardest moments. As we leave this forge, carry this truth forward. The fire will return. The storms will rage. But you are no longer raw steel. You are tempered, shaped, unbreakable. Keep forging gratitude even when the heat feels unbearable. Let it be your anchor, your blade, your shield. And as we prepare to step into the next chapter of this journey, remember this mantra: a call to endure and transform, strike the steel. Shape your strength. Picture yourself as a weary traveler trudging through an endless desert under a merciless sun. Your throat is parched, your steps falter, and the horizon mocks you with its unchanging emptiness. Where is the relief you crave? Where is the hope you've lost? But wait, beneath the burning sand, hidden from your tired eyes, lies an oasis, a wellspring of life waiting to be uncovered. This, my friend, is the power of gratitude. It's the compass that points you to hidden hope, the lens that shifts your gaze from barren dunes to the life-giving waters within reach. In this journey of training gratitude daily to keep your heart steady in every storm, we arrive at a pivotal truth. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a deliberate act of discovery. It's the choice to see beyond the desert of hardship and find the oasis of possibility. You've walked through life's tempest, felt the sting of loss, and wrestled with despair. But today I'm calling you to pause. Look closer. The oasis is nearer than you think. Let's uncover how gratitude transforms your perspective, revealing the hidden beauty in every struggle and anchors your soul when the winds howl fiercest. Imagine a family of 4 huddled in a cramped apartment as the weight of financial ruin presses down like a desert sun. The father, once a steady provider, lost his job months ago. Bills pile up like sand dunes, threatening to bury their dreams. The mother works late into the night, her hands worn from extra shifts. Their 2 children, sensing the tension, tiptoe through the house, afraid to ask for even a small treat. Hope feels like a mirage, shimmering, but always out of reach. Arguments flare over small things, a forgotten chore, a sharp word. The air is thick with frustration, and the family feels like they're wandering through an endless wasteland. But one evening, something shifts. They sit together at their worn-out table, no fancy meal in sight, just a pot of simple soup and stale bread. The mother, exhausted but determined, pulls out an old photo album. "Remember this?" she asks, pointing to a picture of their first camping trip. The children laugh, recalling how they'd spilled hot chocolate on their sleeping bags. The father chimes in, mimicking his terrible attempt at fishing that day, and soon the room fills with laughter, a sound they'd almost forgotten. They flip through more pages, reliving moments of joy, a birthday party with a lopsided cake, a rainy day spent building a blanket fort. In that cramped space surrounded by unpaid bills, they uncover an oasis. Their shared memories, their love, their togetherness. It's a wellspring of strength they'd overlooked in their struggle. That night, they don't solve their financial woes. The desert of hardship still stretches before them. But their perspective shifts. They see they're not just surviving, they're rich in ways no bank statement can measure. Gratitude becomes their water in the wasteland, quenching their despair with the realization that they have each other. Like a traveler finding an oasis, they drink deeply from their bond, renewed to face another day. Now picture an elderly woman sitting alone on her porch as the sun dips low. Her body aches from decades of labor, her hands gnarled from years of toil. She's outlived friends, buried a spouse, and watched her children scattered to distant cities. Life to her often feels like a desert, vast, lonely, and unrelenting. Yet as she sips her tea, her eyes trace the lines of her weathered hands and a quiet smile forms. She's not lost in the dunes of regret. No, she's found her oasis through the lens of gratitude. She thinks back to the storms she's weathered, the factory job where she endured endless hours for meager pay, teaching her resilience. The sleepless nights nursing a sick child, forging her patience. The heartbreak of loss, deepening her compassion. Each challenge, she realizes, wasn't just a burden, it was a gift, a rough stone polished into wisdom by time. She remembers a saying from Viktor E. Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And change she did. She learned to see her struggles not as punishments, but as teachers. Gratitude became her map, guiding her to see that even in the harshest desert of life, there were lessons blooming like desert flowers after rain. Sitting there, she feels a quiet peace. The loneliness doesn't vanish, but it no longer defines her. She's grateful for the life she's lived, for the strength she's gained, for the stories etched into her soul. Like a traveler who discovers an oasis after miles of thirst, she drinks from the well of her own resilience, knowing every hardship shaped her into who she is today. Let's pause here, you and I, and dig deeper into this truth. Gratitude is not a passive emotion. It's an active choice, a compass that points you to hidden hope when the desert of life feels endless. Think about it. How often have you stared at your struggles and seen only sand, only barrenness? How many times have you let despair blind you to the oasis just beneath the surface? The storms of life loss, failure, uncertainty can obscure your vision, making you believe there's nothing left to hold on to. But gratitude shifts your gaze. It's the tool that uncovers the water hidden in the driest places, the lens that reveals the beauty in what you thought was broken. Consider the desert traveler once more. They walk for days, their canteen empty, their spirit wavering. Yet when they stumble upon an oasis, it's not just water they find, it's a reminder that survival is possible, that life persists even in the harshest conditions. Gratitude works the same way in your heart. It doesn't erase the storm, it shows you the shelter within it. It teaches you to look at a missed opportunity and see a lesson, to face a betrayal and find the strength to trust again, to endure loneliness and uncover your own resilience. Gratitude is your inner oasis waiting for you to kneel and drink. So tell me, what hardship have you been carrying that might hold a hidden gift? What storm could you reframe today if you chose to seek the water instead of the sand? There's another layer to this, a deeper current beneath the surface. Gratitude doesn't just reveal hope, it reshapes the very landscape of your mind. When you train yourself to seek the oasis, you stop seeing life as a series of punishing dunes and start seeing it as a journey of discovery. Every struggle becomes a marker, every pain a signpost pointing to growth. You're no longer a victim of the storm, you're a seeker of its hidden treasures. As Wayne Dyer once said in The Power of Intention, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Gratitude is that change. It's the wind that shifts the sands of your perspective, uncovering the life-giving waters you didn't know were there. Think of the desert traveler who, in their exhaustion, curses the sun and the endless miles. Their bitterness blinds them to the faint green on the horizon. But when they choose to look for signs of life, when they search for hope, they notice the subtle shift in the air, the faint scent of moisture. Gratitude is that choice for you. It's the decision to stop cursing the storm and start searching for its purpose. It's the realization that even in your darkest hour, there is something to be thankful for, a lesson, a memory, a strength you didn't know you had. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on right now? The endless sand or the possibility of water? How might your life look different if you chose to seek the oasis in every moment? Now let's make this real, actionable, something you can grip with both hands today. Training gratitude to reveal hidden hope isn't a grand gesture. It's a daily practice, a small but mighty shift. Start with this. At the end of each day, carve out 5 minutes. Grab a notebook, a scrap of paper, anything. Write down 3 things, however small, that brought you a flicker of joy or taught you something. Maybe it's the warmth of a cup of tea on a stressful morning, the kind word from a stranger, or even the hard lesson of a mistake. Don't overthink it, just write. Then reflect. Ask yourself, how did this moment, this gift, shift my perspective? Did it remind me I'm not alone? Did it show me I'm stronger than I thought? This isn't about ignoring the storm. It's about finding the oasis within it. When life feels like a desert, this practice becomes your water. It trains your eyes to see beyond the sand, to uncover hope in the smallest cracks. As Melody Beattie wrote in The Language of Letting Go, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. So start tonight. Write your 3 things. Watch how the act of seeking transforms the way you walk through your storms. Here's another step to anchor this in your life. When a challenge hits, when you're staring at a failure, a loss, or a fear, pause before you react. Take a deep breath and ask yourself one question. What can I be grateful for in this moment? Maybe it's the chance to grow the clarity of knowing what you don't want, or even the simple fact that you're still standing. Write down one answer, no matter how small it seems. Then take one action based on that gratitude. If you're grateful for the lesson, use it to adjust your next step. If you're grateful for surviving, honor it by resting or reaching out for support. This isn't about pretending the storm doesn't hurt. It's about finding the oasis within the chaos, the hidden hope that keeps you moving forward. This practice rewires your mind over time, teaching you to see every hardship as a desert hiding water beneath its surface. It steadies your heart no matter how fierce the winds blow. So the next time despair creeps in, stop. Ask the question, write the answer, act on it. You'll be amazed at how this simple shift uncovers strength you didn't know you had. As we close this chapter of our journey, let's stand together at the edge of the oasis we've uncovered. You've seen how gratitude reveals hidden hope, how it shifts the sands of your perspective to show you life where you once saw only barrenness. Through the laughter of a struggling family, through the quiet wisdom of an elder, and through the deliberate choice to seek water in the desert, you've learned a timeless truth. Gratitude is your compass, your wellspring, your shelter in every storm. It doesn't erase the hardship, but it transforms how you walk through it, steadying your heart with every step. The key lesson here is that gratitude is not a reaction. It's a practice, a daily training that uncovers the oasis within, no matter how vast the desert seems. So carry this with you as we prepare to dive deeper in the next leg of our journey. There are more storms ahead, more lessons to unearth, but you're ready. You've tasted the water of gratitude, and you know it's always within reach. Keep seeking, keep choosing, keep uncovering. Final mantra, kneel at the oasis. Drink deeply, your strength is renewed. You stand at the base of a colossal mountain, its peak piercing the heavens, unmoved by the howling winds and lashing rains that batter its ancient face. Have you ever felt the storms of life rage around you, lost doubt, despair, threatening to uproot your very soul? Yet deep within, there's a strength, a quiet power waiting to anchor you. That power is gratitude, your lifelong shield, your source of unshakable peace. It's not a fleeting feeling or a polite gesture. It's a force as enduring as the mountain before you, capable of holding you steady through every tempest. In this journey of training gratitude daily, we uncover how it keeps your heart steady in every storm. Here in the shadow of life's towering challenges, you'll learn to embrace thankfulness, not as a reaction, but as a way of being a fortress you build within yourself. Feel the ground beneath your feet, sense the storm's roar. You are not meant to crumble. You are meant to stand tall, unyielding, with gratitude as your bedrock. Let's climb this mountain together and discover how to forge peace from chaos. Picture a man named Elias, a veteran whose eyes carry the weight of battles long past. He sits alone in a dimly lit room, the silence heavier than the gunfire he once endured. Memories of loss and pain claw at him. Comrades' fallen dreams, shattered, a life forever altered. The storm within rages, threatening to drown him in bitterness. But one day, as he grips a worn photograph of his unit, something shifts. He doesn't see the pain, he sees the strength. He survived. He carried others to safety. He lived to tell their stories. Gratitude, raw and unpolished, sparks within him, not for the war, but for the resilience it forged in his bones. Elias begins a quiet ritual. Each morning he writes one thing he's thankful for from those dark days: the brother who shared his last ration, the medic who refused to give up on him, the dawn that broke after endless nights. Slowly the storm's roar dulls. He starts volunteering at a local shelter, sharing his story with others who bear invisible wounds. He doesn't erase the past, but he reframes it. Like a mountain standing unyielding through storms, Elias finds peace, not by escaping his pain, but by thanking it for the unbreakable spirit it gifted him. His lesson is clear: gratitude doesn't deny your scars. It honors the strength they signify. It keeps your heart steady when the tempest howls loudest. Now imagine a small coastal town, its streets once vibrant with laughter, now reduced to rubble after a devastating hurricane. Homes are splintered, livelihoods washed away, and grief hangs thick in the salty air. Maria, a local baker, surveys the wreckage of her shop. The oven's cold, the walls collapsed. Despair looms like a storm cloud ready to break her. But as neighbors gather, dragging debris aside, sharing what little they have: a blanket, a loaf of stale bread, a weary smile, Maria feels a warmth amidst the ruin. They are alive. They are together. That is enough. Instead of mourning what's lost, the community turns to gratitude for what remains. They hold a gathering in the town square, not to lament, but to give thanks for the hands that lift fallen beams, for the strangers who bring water, for the sheer will to rebuild. Maria kneads dough in a borrowed kitchen, feeding workers, her heart swelling with purpose. Each brick laid, each roof mended, becomes a testament to their shared strength. Like a mountain enduring endless gales, they stand tall, not because the storm spared them, but because gratitude for each other became their unshakable foundation. Their story teaches us that even in devastation, thankfulness unites and rebuilds, anchoring us through life's fiercest tempests. Pause for a moment, look within. How often have you let the storms of life, failure, rejection, uncertainty shake your core, convincing you to surrender? Yet consider this: gratitude is not a fragile flower, easily uprooted by wind. It is a mountain, ancient and unyielding, carved by time and trial. When you embrace it as a lifelong shield, it becomes more than a fleeting thought. It transforms into a state of being, a lens through which you see every struggle. It doesn't erase the rain or silence the thunder. It teaches you to stand tall amidst it all, to feel the storm's bite and still whisper, "I am here, I am grateful." Think of life's tempests as chisels shaping your mountain. Each hardship, each loss etches a new ridge into your soul, making you stronger, wiser, more enduring. Gratitude is the act of tracing those ridges with reverence, not resentment. It's recognizing that without the storm, you wouldn't know the depth of your own resilience. As Napoleon Hill once said, strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Gratitude magnifies that strength. It anchors you when doubt threatens to topple you, reminding you that peace isn't found in calm seas, but in the heart that learns to weather any wave. So ask yourself, what storm are you facing now, and what hidden gift within it can you thank today? Let's climb higher on this mountain of thought. Gratitude is not loud. It doesn't demand applause or recognition. It's a quiet force, like the deep roots of a mountain that hold firm against the fiercest gales. When you train it daily, it becomes your unshakable peace, a sanctuary you carry within. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending all is well. No, it's about shifting your gaze, seeing the flicker of light in the darkest night, the lesson in the sharpest fall. How many times have you focused on what's missing, blind to the abundance already in your hands? Imagine your life as a rugged peak, battered by endless storms, yet standing taller with each one. Gratitude is the wind that polishes your edges, not to weaken you, but to reveal your true form. It's the realization that every struggle, every tear has added to your height. As Melody Beattie wrote, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. It's a shield not of denial, but of defiance against despair, against giving up. When the tempest roars, gratitude whispers, "You've endured before. You'll endure again." So reflect, what past storm can you thank for shaping who you are today? Now let's forge this shield into something tangible. Training gratitude daily isn't a vague ideal. It's a deliberate act, a muscle you strengthen with practice. Start small, but start now. Each evening before the world quiets, take 5 minutes to write down 3 things you're thankful for from that day. They don't have to be grand. Perhaps it's the warmth of a morning coffee, a kind word from a stranger, or simply the breath in your lungs. Write them with intention, feel them as you do. This isn't a checklist. It's a moment to anchor yourself, to stand like a mountain against the day's storms. When doubt or frustration creeps in, pause. Pull out that list. Read it aloud if you must. Let those small gratitudes remind you of your strength, your capacity to find light even in shadow. If a storm feels too heavy, ask yourself, what can I thank this moment for teaching me? This simple shift rewires your mind, turning chaos into clarity. Over time, this ritual becomes your shield, your unshakable peace, ready to guard your heart through any tempest. Commit to it, build it, watch how it holds you steady. Here's another tool to wield. When life storms strike, be it a setback at work, a personal loss, or wave of self-doubt, don't let reaction rule you. Stop, breathe, reframe. Ask yourself, what strength is this storm forging in me? Maybe a failed project teaches patience. Maybe a broken bond reveals your capacity to heal. Write down one lesson, one gift hidden in the struggle, and thank it. Speak it to yourself. I'm grateful for this pain, for it builds my endurance. This isn't blind optimism, it's alchemy turning raw hurt into refined power. Carry this practice into your daily grind. When frustration mounts, step back. Find one thing, however small, to appreciate in that moment, the chance to grow, the will to try again, the sheer fact you're still standing. Like a mountain unmoved by raging winds, let gratitude be your stance. It's not about ignoring the storm, it's about choosing to see beyond it. As Wayne Dyer once noted, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Shift your lens. Train this habit. It will keep your heart steady no matter how fierce the tempest grows. As we descend this rugged path, let's carve the insights of this journey into your soul. Gratitude is not a fleeting emotion. It's your lifelong shield, your source of unshakable peace. Through Elias's story, we saw how thanking past pain for its lessons can heal unseen wounds. Through Maria's community, we learned that gratitude unites, rebuilds, and anchors us even in ruin. It's the mountain within you standing tall through every tempest, unmoved by life's fiercest storms, because you've trained it to endure. The key lesson here is to embrace gratitude daily as the bedrock of your strength, the steadying force that keeps your heart resolute no matter the chaos around you. Hold this truth close. Let it guide you as we prepare to explore deeper terrains in our journey of resilience. For now, stand firm, face the wind, feel the rain, and remember you are the mountain, unyielding, eternal, with gratitude as your core. Keep this mantra in your heart as the storms come, and they will come. Let it echo through your being, a reminder of your power to rise above. Final mantra, stand as the mountain. Let gratitude steady your heart through every storm,